Whether helping you make changes at your plant or handling, transporting, and erecting heavy industrial machinery and products, or moving one-of-a-kind things into one-of-a-kind places, that's what it's all about for Big Red Machinery Movers Incorporated of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Since 1981, no matter the size of the project, Big Red Machinery Movers has specialized in getting items like these from where they are to where they are needed, on cost and on schedule. Coming up now, we'd like to tell you about a few of the projects that Big Red has supported. Yet as diverse as these examples are, we believe they share something in common. That is, Big Red treats each challenge as unique and gives each project the customized approach that it demands. Our first example tells of Big Red's involvement with a famous passenger train. In preserving many significant highlights of transportation history, Chicago's Museum of Science and Industry recently restored a long-standing and popular exhibit which commemorated 1930s rail passenger service, the entire Burlington Pioneer Zephyr passenger train. On outdoor display since 1960, this once gleaming icon was beginning to show the effects of the weather, as well as wear and tear from millions of visitors over almost 40 years. So in just the reverse of the activity seen in these 1960 photos, the museum and a benefactor, the W. W. Grainger Foundation, embarked on a project to restore the train and install it into a new weatherproof display area. The Chicago Museum of Science and Industry chose Big Red Machinery Movers to transport this vintage train from its previous outdoor exhibit space to the Northern Railcar Corporation facility in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where the train would be restored. After more than 2 years and an effort of nearly 17,000 labor hours, Northern Railcar completed the restoration. Again, it was up to Big Red Machinery Movers to return this now more precious piece of history from Milwaukee and install it into its new exhibit home at the Museum of Science and Industry. First, however, Big Red moved the train to its 100,000 square foot covered storage facility, also in Milwaukee. Making a special opening in its warehouse wall, Big Red moved the train inside and applied shrink wrap to protect it during the coming move south. The locomotive and its cars were then placed on custom transportation trailers for the road convoy back to Chicagoland. After a short delay en route for display at Grainger headquarters in Skokie, Illinois, the train had completed its journey and was back at the museum. The old exhibit had been outdoors at grade level. However, the new sheltered space created by the museum was 40 feet below ground, on the lowest level of their new underground parking facility. To conduct a safe and trouble-free operation, Big Red's consulting engineer reviewed the final data to ensure that the planned lifts and swings were within equipment maximum parameters. Engineering review was also performed to ensure that load-bearing surfaces for the lifting and moving equipment were adequate to safely support the expected loads. The locomotive alone weighed 131,000 pounds, yet it was swung into position and lowered with precision, threading a narrow opening down onto the front wheels, which were waiting 40 feet below on the display track. Generally, as each was lowered onto the track, a unit was rolled forward, and the succeeding units were lowered through the same narrow opening. To make things more challenging, though, and unlike most trains, this one had an articulated wheel arrangement, where the ends of the coaches share the same wheel set. so some extra close tolerance positioning was required to rejoin the cars into a complete train. Big Red is understandably proud of these accomplishments and is pleased to have helped the Museum of Science and Industry to restore the train and to upgrade this valuable and unique exhibit. So far, we've seen Big Red demonstrate its expertise in handling very large and heavy but sturdy objects. Yet Big Red Machinery Movers has also successfully handled objects which could be damaged by moving them. Consider Big Red's relocating the former Bridge Street Truss Bridge in Grafton, Wisconsin. According to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, the bridge had served the village of Grafton for more than 100 years. As those years passed, however, modern vehicles became too wide for safe passage on the bridge. That reality, along with its age, drove a 1980s decision to restrict the bridge to pedestrians and bicycles. Since then, though, public safety and other needs continued to grow, and to justify a modern bridge at that location. As the time came to replace the bridge with a new structure, the community decided to relocate the old bridge and to restore it as a part of Grafton history. To begin the work, Big Red Machinery Movers designed, fabricated, and installed extra supports on site to protect the venerable old structure from the added stress of being moved. Then, over a 2-day period, and with a large forklift supporting each end, Big Red moved this 33-ton truss bridge through downtown Grafton to the restoration site in nearby Lime Kiln Park. Today, after the community had expended additional elbow grease and other resources, visitors and residents alike can enjoy this restored bridge, along with other historic displays in the park. So in this example, Big Red removed, transported, and installed this historic bridge while maintaining its current structural integrity. Success! Along with its capabilities in handling precious but outsized articles, Big Red Machinery Movers is pleased to provide continuing support to the marine service and shipbuilding industries located around the Great Lakes. For example, at the Marinette Marine Corporation's shipyard in Marinette, Wisconsin, Big Red assisted with transferring a new United States Coast Guard vessel from its construction supports onto an arrangement of dual walking beam transporters. Big Red helped to move this nearly 300-foot-long ship out of Marinette's covered construction building and across the yard to a launching platform next to the Menominee River. Afterward, under the direction of Marinette Marine, Big Red lifted some of the taller prefabricated sections of superstructure into position on the ship. Then Marinette Marine completed more work, and the vessel was ready for a christening ceremony and launching. A sideways launch, the ship slid down its ways and made a fairly spectacular entry into the Menominee River. Big Red Machinery Movers gained more and valuable experience by assisting with this specialized machinery moving task. Our final example involves another marine project. In 2001, the State of Wisconsin Department of Transportation commissioned a replacement car ferry to be custom designed by Timothy Grawl Marine Designs of Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. The new 15-car, 155-passenger vessel replaced that old 12-car ferry that had connected State Highway 113 across the Wisconsin River at Merrimack since 1963. There has been a ferry of some description at this point on the river since 1848, and so this ferry connection enjoys a listing on both the federal and the state registers of historic places. The new ferry was built by Basic Marine Incorporated of Escanaba, Michigan. Now in service, this new vessel is also cable-operated, but has a length of over 100 feet, is 45 feet wide, with a dry weight of nearly 200 tons. Because there is no navigable waterway between Escanaba and the ultimate destination, Basic Marine fabricated the vessel into large transportable sections. In March 2003, despite some surprise winter weather, unusual even for the Great Lakes, Big Red machinery movers loaded these oversized sections in Escanaba as scheduled and transported them to the build-up site near Merrimack, Wisconsin, a distance of more than 200 miles. A catamaran design, the two huge pontoons and the vessel center section made their attention-getting journeys without incident, over highway and through hamlet. Several additional oversized truckloads carried the rest of the components. However, just moving these oversized and heavyweight subsections to the erection site was not end of story for Big Red. Big Red continued to support Basic Marine at the site. Using precision optical instruments, Big Red machinery movers performed the on-site heavy lifting and leveling needed to align and support these huge components into their final jig positions, as directed by Basic Marine. Over several weeks, Basic Marine alternately assembled, welded, and rigged the new ferry. After thorough systems checks, the assembled boat was ready for launching. Meanwhile, as the vessel was being completed, Big Red and Basic Marine fabricated a system of launching rails and prepared them for the launching. As the rails were being completed, Big Red began to move the vessel some 200 feet from its assembly point to place it atop the rails, a slow and careful process. At last, under sunny skies, Big Red tilted the ferry and its launch system. Then the restraints were cut.
Oh, good. So far it's going real good. Oh, I wish it were. She went in real good.
With only its guide cables attached, its momentum carried the new ferry halfway across this Wisconsin River crossing. Now it was mission complete for Big Red machinery movers. Well, these have been just a few examples of Big Red's diverse technical experience in handling and transporting outsized and heavyweight articles. More to our point, though, we believe that Big Red's experience in meeting the new challenges that have come with every job adds a dimension that surpasses mere technical capability. In our view, our track record in meeting those new challenges is as important to consider as is the size, weight, or distance involved in the project you may be planning. We think Big Red succeeds with these unusual tasks because we plan and execute each one from square zero. We take nothing for granted. Big Red can also respond quickly with an owned inventory of specialized handling equipment available at Big Red's 6-acre facility. Of course, to minimize cost, we own just often used equipment, but Big Red can promptly access any existing equipment through subcontracting, lease, or rental arrangements. So Big Red knows how and when to reach out using similar arrangements to provide all the necessary equipment and personnel capabilities for your tasking. Big Red also fabricates and modifies equipment as necessary to meet the needs of the moving project. To handle any emerging requirements, Big Red can provide over 100,000 square feet of heated inside storage. This storage can also overcome the logistical challenges sometimes created by timing differences between the new and the old sites. Before, during, and for closeout afterwards, Big Red smoothly coordinates its actions with your other work groups on site in getting your total job done. Moving to a higher level, Big Red can also form and lead a team of specialists, acting as your integrator for all machinery handling. This means that Big Red machinery movers can be your single point of contact for all aspects of moving or modifying your equipment, even for the relocation of your entire plant. Of course, that includes dismantling, handling, transportation, and erection at a new site. Either leading your movement team or handling all of your needs in-house, Big Red Machinery Movers welcomes that never-been-done-before, who'd-have-believed-it machinery moving job. So when the question comes up, how can we move it? Just call Big Red Machinery Movers. Big Red is your answer.